Welcome to Season 5 of the Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom, where we talk with enterprise and technology platform leaders about the people, processes, and platforms that make marketing and customer experience successful, scalable, and sustainable. This is what creates an Agile brand. I'm your host, Greg Kihlstrom, advisor and consultant for Fortune 1000 marketing and CX leaders and teams as principal and chief strategist at GK5A, and best-selling author, keynote speaker, entrepreneur, and Agile certified coach. The Agile Brand podcast is brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. For more information, go to TEKsystems.com. To sign up for the Agile Brand newsletter and get the latest insights and articles on marketing technology and CX, or to purchase a copy of my latest book, House of the Customer, go to gregkihlstrom.com. You can also find all my books on Amazon and other retailers. And now on to the show. I'm excited to introduce part 2 of a special series about how organizations can maximize business value with FinOps. This series is brought to you by TEKsystems, a global provider of business and technology solutions. To help me discuss this topic, I'd like to welcome Kalika Prasad Maheshwari, Senior Director at TEKsystems. KP, first, why don't you give a little background about yourself as well as what you do at TEKsystems?
Hey, thanks, Greg. It's great to be talking to you. I've been with TEKsystems for past 13 plus years now, and I've been in IT consulting field for about 20 plus years now. Here at TEKsystems, I lead enterprise enablement practice. And as part of our services, we help our customers bring efficiency, stability, thought leadership, and cost savings while they're supporting their application and technology platforms. So there are different names you could call it. We call it application support. We call application outsourcing. And one such service we offer to our customers is FinOps. And this is particularly for customers who are migrating to cloud.
Great. So let's dive in here. And first, since we're talking about FinOps today, and I'd love for many listeners may already know exactly what that is, but for those that are a little less familiar, how do you define FinOps?
So there has been a major trend in customers adopting cloud for all their IT needs. And FinOps is essentially science and art of making sure that they get the benefits they are looking for, value they are trying to derive out of the cloud. So one of the challenges that has been there in this migration to cloud or the rush to cloud has been that without proper planning, discipline, or collaboration, a lot of the value and benefits that our customers are looking to get, for example, reduce costs, agility, efficiency, speed, customer experience, they elude our customers. And FinOps is that discipline which allows you to collaborate between a centralized governance, timely, accessible usage reports, and engineering teams to work on what it would take to make this cloud give the value that they're looking for. So that's the discipline of FinOps. And there are 3 main stages in FinOps. Like you identify opportunities that you can tweak where you can get value. You optimize your cloud usage. And finally, you establish continuous monitoring and managing continuous improvement to keep getting those values. So that's how I would define FinOps. Correct.
Yeah. Great. And you kind of touched on this already, but just wanted to dive a little deeper on this. You talked about kind of the areas of where FinOps is involved and things. How does FinOps improve a product, a service, or a business?
So FinOps helps our customers instill a culture of collaboration between mainly engineering, finance, business teams, so that you can optimize your cloud expenditure. And it provides tools, technologies, and processes and governance framework so that you can administer your cloud resources properly, make sure that they are provisioned right, they are utilized right, and they are shared across easily. So this results in improved performance, reduced cycle times, reduced total cost of ownership, which is of key importance to many of the C-level, especially CFOs, CIOs, and that's something that FinOps achieves. And for example, one of our large customers in telecommunications space opted lift and shift from their on-prem to cloud as a strategy to quickly go to cloud. But in the process, they just replicated what was there on on-prem. And after migration, they realized that their cloud usage costs were significantly higher than what they anticipated. So they were hoping to get a lot of savings, and that did not come at first. And when we engaged with them, we worked with their business, their technology, their engineer team, and we were able to identify what they needed to do in terms of collaborating across different teams or optimizing their architecture or making sure that they engineer their applications right for cloud. And this resulted in about 30% cost savings immediately.
Wow.
So that's the kind of benefit customers can gain from FinOps.
Yeah, that's great, and that's some powerful numbers there to be able to show that. And so I would imagine that there's a lot of platforms, there's a lot of tools that are available to be able to do some of these things. What are some of those platforms and tools that you've employed or seen used to power FinOps?
Sure. So we at TEKsystems have leveraged FinOps across multiple public clouds. We have worked on AWS, we have worked with Azure, we have worked with GCP, and we have worked with customers that have multiple of these platforms. And some of the tools that we leverage, so essentially, as I said, there are three main stages or main prongs to this FinOps. One is collaboration across C-levels and operational levels. So we've used different tools to make that collaboration work. And second one that is how do you get usage reports? So because it can be pretty intricate, it can be pretty complex to know what you are doing, and there are a lot of different parameters by which cloud usage gets tracked. So building those reports, getting that detailed data, granular level to get those usage and cloud native. So each of these clouds provides tools to be able to do that, be it Amazon cost usage report or GCP usage report, Azure cost management. And we have also built accelerators within TEKsystems to be able to gather all this data. And we actually have a Snowflake-based tool which drills down goes into your usage data, collects all of that, analyzes, and brings the dashboards which allow you to quickly visualize how you are doing, where are the areas of opportunity for you to gain benefits, and how do you collaborate so that if there are various ways in which different teams can use cloud, and how you make sure that that usage is consistent with business goals. So these tools provide that. So this accelerator that we have is of great value. And we have also, there are some marketplace tools available which do similar things, and we've used those tools as well.
Before we continue, I wanted to share a key strategic resource that a majority of the Fortune 500 are already aware of. Finding the best technology, business, and talent solutions is not easy. With business demands and competitive pressures mounting, you need to be able to design, deploy, and optimize your technology to provide leading customer experiences while driving business growth. Those of you that have been listening to this show for a while know that this podcast is brought to you by TEKsystems, a global provider of technology, business, and talent solutions for more than 80% of the Fortune 500. TEKsystems accelerates business transformation for their customers. Whether you're looking to maximize your technology ROI, drive business growth, or elevate customer experiences, TEKsystems enables enterprises to capitalize on change. Learn more at TEKsystems.com. That's TEKsystems.com. Now let's get back to the show. So you've mentioned the cloud a few times already, and some of this involves shifting from on-prem to cloud and things like that. What are some of the public cloud challenges that you've witnessed in your work?
Sure. So with this growing functionality and offerings, each of this cloud has been evolving at a very fast pace.
Yeah.
For example, Amazon AWS has some 300 plus services today, and Azure and GCP are not far behind. So with this complexity and these different functionalities they offer, there are different ways in which they measure the usage and charge you for that. So the temptation is great for organization or a particular team to spin up a cloud instance and move things from what your application is to the cloud and call yourself in cloud.
Yeah.
But what happens is working in silos, we lose track and visibility of the cloud across. And what is the main thing that requires out there is being able to collaborate in a central fashion, a team that will look after the complete cloud usage and work with each of these different teams who are using cloud to get the benefit and value out of the cloud. So this could mean thinking cloud first before you are even developing an application. How do you architect? How do you make sure that you are using your workloads, you are running them at the right time? Because it could be that off-peak power usage is way cheaper than when you do, say, during the peak time. And the best way to get value out of cloud would be to architect your solutions and your applications that way. And if you don't do that, it defeats the purpose of going to cloud. So that's the biggest challenge that I have seen, which is how do you make sure that you are collaborating and you are architecting your solutions cloud in mind and not just looking at lift and shift.
Yeah, yeah. And so going to more broadly speaking, within the FinOps process, I can imagine, this none of this is simple stuff, right? It takes a lot of strategy and planning and expertise. What is maybe the most difficult phase or aspect of some of these projects to implement?
The biggest challenge or the key process that is it takes time is something that is more softer. If it's an engineering thing, if you have to develop something, that's a process most of the teams can follow. Yeah. And do it, but collaborating at an organization level, making sure that there is a buy-in from each of different groups to have the governance structure, a framework which will allow you to get the value that you're looking from cloud, which organization is looking from cloud. And this value is not just to cost. It could be how you increase your user experience. How do you make sure that your applications are efficient? How do you make sure that you are optimizing your uptime? So there are sometimes balance between what you want to achieve and what organization needs to achieve. And striking that balance, collaboration, that's the biggest difficult part I have seen. And once we have that nailed down, rest of it is easy. I won't say easy, but at least once you nail down and once you lay out the process, it's easy for us to follow in terms of analyzing the usage, in terms of optimizing and continuously improving it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, in the work that I do, we think in terms of people, process, and platform, right? And so, it's to your point. It's not that anything is easy, but it's a lot more straightforward once you get the people and the process components in place. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. So these two components are the most challenging or difficult ones, and that's probably just the nature of work when you're dealing with people, convincing them and selling them the value that, hey, this is how it should be done, or at least prioritizing and putting that on paper becomes the most difficult part. Once that's there, then a lot of other things become mechanical.
Yeah, agreed. Well, It's been great talking with you. Any parting thoughts or anything else that maybe we haven't had a chance to cover, but you thought would be worth exploring here while we're talking about FinOps?
Sure. So, Greg, FinOps presents a great approach and methodology for us to make most out of the investments that customers make into cloud. And this is a very critical need of the hour for people to look into, because until a couple of years back, there was a large push to go to cloud. And now every customer that we are talking to is trying to get value out of that investment. And FinOps is a great opportunity and great process for us to analyze and extract that value. So TEKsystems has a lot of expertise, experience, skills, and tools, accelerators to help our customers do that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, this has been a great conversation, KP. I really appreciate you sharing your perspective.
Thank you. It was great talking to you, Greg.
Yeah, thanks again. You can learn more about TEKsystems and their perspective at TEKsystems.com, and you can learn more about KP and TEKsystems in the show notes. Thanks again for listening to the Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom podcast, brought to you by TEKsystems. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to subscribe on your podcast channel of choice and leave us a rating so that others can find the show more easily. You can access more episodes of the show at www.gregkihlstrom.com. That's GREGKIHLSTROM.com. To get a copy of my latest book, House of the Customer, visit my website, or you can find it on Amazon or other retailers. The Agile Brand is produced by Missing Link, a Latina-owned, strategy-driven, creatively fueled production co-op. From ideation to creation, they craft human connections through intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Until next time, stay agile.